today's session: decisions, decisions, decisions. I don't know if you've got any pending at the moment, but I've got one, and I've noticed over the last few days a real kind of roller coaster that I've been on around making this particular decision. And it's been really interesting to fall into that sort of awareness phase with myself as I've noticed myself going through this decision. So the first time an idea was presented to me, I felt myself getting quite excited about it, and the excitement, I think, was coming from a not very healthy place. So this was a business opportunity. I definitely saw the pound signs, as it were, and really kind of got quite excited about the potential of the money, and didn't really sit with it from a place of quiet for any period. I just kind of got very overexcited and got quite urgent. And it's only kind of with hindsight that I'm looking back and going, oh yeah, there was this feeling of urgency. I need to jump on this opportunity. I've got to do it. And then over the following few days, I noticed a rising discomfort, I suppose, around this decision, whether or not to press the button to proceed with this particular opportunity or not. And today I really realized that I wasn't ready to make a decision about this particular thing. And how did I know that? And how can you know when you're not ready to make a decision? And it's all in the feeling. So I started to notice that I was arguing with myself. Have you done that over a decision? I was properly arguing with myself. These are the pros, these, like, going back and forth, like, oh, it's a really good idea. Oh, no, it's not because of this. No, it's a really good idea. No, it's not because of this. Going back and forth over and over again, like going round and round in circles, and finding myself just feeling almost dizzy with it, really. And today I sort of stepped back a little bit and saw myself in the thick of all that. And I remembered something then that Dick Bettinger said, years ago now, probably quite early on in my 3 principles journey, where he said, if you're stirred up about a decision, if you're going back and forth and you're all in a tiz about it, I suppose, then that is a really clear sign that you're not ready to make that decision. It's not time yet. And I think that can feel really hard, especially with that feeling of urgency. Like, that feeling of urgency was in me, and there was somebody else kind of saying there was urgency. The person who'd introduced this opportunity to me, they were quite urgent about it. They were sort of, come on, you need to make a decision. And that felt, so there's some pressure from outside, it seemed. And that feeling of urgency is just telling us that we've got urgent thinking. And what I was going to say just then was, there are very few decisions that you have to make right now. I mean, if there's a child stepping out in front of a bus, that's a decision you have to make. But you won't actually feel yourself making that decision. That will just happen. You will just go, whoa, come here, and pull the child out of the danger, or you move yourself from danger, or take some action to prevent something from glass is falling. You don't have to make a decision to try and catch the glass. I epically fail at that most of the time. You just do it. Things that really need to be done now, there's so little thinking involved. They just happen, don't they? And that's really cool to see, that if something is actually urgent, if it actually has to happen now, great, you'll know, because you'll have done it already. You won't feel yourself making a decision at all. And this morning, Bruce and I went on a walk, and he's been involved in this conversation about this opportunity too. We went on a walk together. And that's the other thing. I thought he was quite excited about it as well. And I had a chat to him, and it turned out he wasn't as excited as I thought he was, which was great. We were kind of on the same page, which we usually are, actually. And we walked to the shops this morning just to buy a bag of salad, I think, very excitingly. And I said when we got there, I said, do you know what? We don't have to decide. We can just sit with the status quo, which at the moment is we don't know. What if that was just okay to just not know? I don't know whether I want to do this thing or not right now. At the moment, I'm not ready to say yes. Who knows what will happen in next week or tomorrow or in an hour's time? But right now, I can feel myself going, is it this or that? Is it this or that? And that feeling uncomfortable, it feels like my thinking is very stirred up. And how do we know our thinking is stirred up? Well, we can feel that in our body. I can still feel it now. It's like my stomach, I felt a little bit sick, actually. My stomach felt very kind of washing machine-y. And yeah, there was I can feel it now. If I just breathe into it, I can feel that sort of tightness in my chest. I just feel discombobulated is probably the best word for it. I feel off. And the result of that off feeling is that I know I'm not ready to press a button, to commit to something, to commit some investment, to involve myself in something different. So it's really cool when we see that we're provided with this absolutely perfect system. And the perfect system is when your thinking isn't helpful, you're going to feel that in your body. The problem is that we're usually going so fast through life that we can't notice that. And that's when I started to notice I was a little bit off. And well, I think I woke up in the early hours this morning and my mind immediately went to this thing, like it was like, oh, let's start thinking about. And I do this breathing thing, and then I would just breathe in, let, and breathe out, go, just let go, let go, let go. And that seems to help me to get back to sleep at the moment, when it makes sense to do that. Because I don't need to make a decision at 3 o'clock in the morning. That's absolutely for definite. I mean, how often do we think we have to make a decision at 3 o'clock in the morning? Just me. I don't think it's just me, is it? It's probably you too, that sometimes it seems like, that there's a decision to be made at 3 o'clock in the morning, which is really not very helpful. So what's the kind of conclusion here? The conclusion is, well, first of all, most decisions that you have to make, you don't have to make any of them. Most decisions can wait. If you don't know, you don't know, and that's okay. You don't have to force that through any kind of pros and cons list or anything else, or thinking, because that's what we usually do, don't we? We just sit and think about it endlessly till we're exhausted by thinking about it. And then we really don't know what to do we? And we end up a bit paralyzed. Yesterday afternoon, I didn't really do very much because I just felt very stuck in this kind of mulling over repeatedly nonsense. So that's the first thing. You don't have to make a decision. There are very few decisions that are actually urgent. Most decisions can wait. I can't say decisions now, decisions. Most decisions can wait till later or whenever or never. And the second thing is how you feel in your body is pivotal. That's letting you know about your state of mind. And then the third thing is to notice your state of mind. If you're going, is it this, is it that, going back and forth and proing and conning it, and there's a lot of busyness there and a lot of overthinking, then you're definitely not ready to make that decision. And I'll probably talk again later in the week about this because it feels like a subject that's bubbling, and perhaps later on in the week we'll talk a little bit more about how decisions get made in the most wonderful and peaceful way. And that's possible for all of us. Decisions can kind of make themselves we'll explore that a little bit more probably in the video I'll do later this week. So take care, lots of love. I hope you found that helpful. I hope that's settled things for you a little bit around decision making. Thanks a lot. Bye.